Saturday here to get Len Brown, who's the mayor of Auckland, mayor of like 1.4 million people, largest city in the country. It was an Agenda 21 takeover, more or less, if you want to get technical about it. But he's apparently been quite corrupt. He's sleeping around with Asian burlesque dancer chick and stuff like that. Actually having sex with her in particular rooms of the council building. And because I'm an extremist conspiracy theorist, and a couple of other former mayoral candidates and what have you are going to be speaking there, people are using this as an excuse to say it's all completely crazy. So we've got people who are left-wing and people who are right-wing coming to speak, and that's a reason why you should never listen to us, because we're left-wing or right-wing and we're all coming together, so therefore none of us are correct and we're all crazy. All right, that's the logic.
So let me get this straight. You're a benign narcissist, and you're going after just a narcissist?
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, actually, I'm going after psychopaths. I think somebody was actually talking to me about this, and they go, "Well, if you're a narcissist, why are you going after psychopaths?" And I say, "Well, because they're my natural enemy." It's kind of like if you're a black person and you don't steal stuff and what have you, black people who do steal stuff are your natural enemy because they make you look bad. Yeah? I don't want to use that as a racist example and what have you, but the basic thing is true. How you define yourself is how you differentiate yourself from the other people who are just like you but have notable differences. And I feel that's kind of like it. Like I'm a non-psychopathic narcissist who really hates psychopathic narcissists. So because all psychopaths are narcissists. But not all narcissists are psychopaths, and that's the important difference here.
Well, when is your protest?
This Saturday. I'm going to be.
Where do people find details on that?
Oh, shoot! I'm so terrible. I'm like one of the speakers there, and I've got. I'm bringing all the sound equipment and whatnot, but I can't even freaking remember where it is. If you just Google Len Brown Stand Down, or the details are on my YouTube channel, actually. So if you search Len Brown on my YouTube channel, you should be able to find it. There's a video there by former mayoral candidate Stephen Berry that I produced for him. In fact, I'll pop it into the chat room now for everybody to see it, and I'll indeed put it on the archives for the show when I put it up there.
So speaking of the scumbaggery, to borrow your phrase, in New Zealand, one of my guests asked about a gentleman named Greg Hallett.
Oh yeah.
And what's your opinion on that? Because we obviously have, I mean, when it comes to child abuse and child sexual abuse and all of that pedophilia type of stuff, I mean, America is, again, it's basically, you might as well call it legal within government because it's protected by the courts and it's protected by I call them secret societies that make up the police and the courts. So what's going on there with this guy, Greg Hallett? What did happen?
Well, he's written a number of books, and he
had to leave New Zealand, right?
Did he? I don't know. I haven't spoken to Greg in a long time. I met him a couple of times. One time I met him outside the Auckland High Court at a protest, and he was telling me about how the police were shipping the drugs in, and whatnot. But I asked Greg one time if he would come on my show, and he asked me how many visitors I had a month to my website, and he goes, "Nah, too small."
It is
yes.
There's certain people out there that are like that, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, bro, it's not like people are clambering to frickin' interview you. You know? It's like you're talking about the pedophile rings and everything that run in this thing that can wind up getting them their shows cancelled and maybe get them killed and what have you, and somebody comes up and offers you a couple of hours of what have you to speak your piece and what have you, and you go, "Nah, too small." You know, it seems like me.
Well, and that's the point. You know, that's the point I was trying to make. Is there's too big, but there's not too small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's just I don't want to like throw Greg under the bus, because he does a whole lot of good things. A lot of people criticize him and say that what he's saying isn't true and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, if he's talking about scumbaggery, if he's talking about the and how it operates within society in any way, shape, or form, I'm never too much of an enemy of those kind of people. I may not like them personally or how they treat me and who they are as people, but for what they do and that kind of thing, then I'm fine with it. As long as you're not working for the scumbags and as long as you're exposing a little bit of scumbaggery, it's all right. Go for your life, son.
It's tough, though, because, gosh, go look in the newspaper. What's available as quote-unquote jobs, as busyness, what is available? It's basically, come work for scumbag number 15. We do banking. We commit usury that's how we make a profit. It's really tough to. I've been racking my brain in what I can do to legitimately, which is a word that doesn't even exist in America anymore, legitimately live, without the Federal Reserve note. It's so frustrating. It really is.
Yeah, life's a frustrating thing, and especially when you realise that your life is not your own and you're actually a slave that's on the frickin' stock market. It's a hell of a lot.
It is. It's a horrible realization.
Yeah, it is a horrible realization, and I think everybody should just go. You know what? Look, the situation's bad. Okay, we know it's bad, and
but it's been the same since pre-biblical times. It's been the same. It's the same thing over and over and over. Fractal. Just like you said before.
Yeah. Totally right. It's a fractal scumbaggery planet. All right, and one thing that I believe is actually really kind of valuable that I use constantly is the advent of humour. Just even on a physical level with the endorphin rushes and things of that nature that cackling gives you, it actually is a way of disarming that fear, that paranoia, that depression, because look, you can't go from everything's hunky-dory in the entire world, you can trust your politicians, the police don't beat people up for no reason, the judges aren't corrupt, and the medical industry isn't the biggest killer in America, to finding out the truth that actually everything that you've been brought up to believe in your entire frickin' life is completely wrong, and you have to start again. It's like I spent all these years in high school and university and all of these jobs and everything that I learnt over the entire period of that time was BS. I have to start again. That's kind of like building your house and then accidentally burning it down when you were having a cigarette. It's pretty depressing. So you got to get over it. Because that's actually pretty funny, that example that I do there. Great, we got the house all built and everything like that. Let's have a cigarette to celebrate. The whole thing goes up. Well,
I was writing about this actually. I was writing about going and rewatching George Carlin. I saw George Carlin live in, I think it was Bally's, Las Vegas, and I noticed that he wasn't funny when you see him live, and that the people in the audience, they actually add laugh tracks because the nature of his material is not funny at its heart. There's he does his other routines, but his political humor is not funny. It's truth right in your face, and wow. Well, Vinny, I want to thank you for coming on today. It was kind of an unrehearsed, just all-out fun fest, and I appreciate it. Again, Vinny Eastwood, theVinnyEastwoodShow.com and RealGorillaMedia.com. I'm going to probably, after the show tonight, after I have some dinner, I'm probably going to now that you brought up fractals, I'm probably going to go get stoned and watch some fractal videos. Just got to be honest.
There are worse fates.
Yeah.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there you go.
Yeah, it's hopefully it won't stick. Hopefully I won't dream about it, but yeah.
In fact, it's funny you mentioned that. That's actually how I sleep. Is I'll close my eyes and I'll visualize. Those I don't know, it was a Windows media player or something like that, and it's got like a hole in the middle, and all the sound waves come out the edge, like you're going into a black hole, like a wormhole.
Absolutely.
Or something like that. That's what I do in order to get to sleep at night. Is I visualize a wormhole and I try and push myself into it and visualize me going through this wormhole. It just gets deeper and deeper, and eventually I fall asleep.
Yeah, I do the same thing actually, and it's interesting.
Well, that's weird.
I can see it better though. Again, on certain leafy
green vegetables.
Yes. So, but yeah, that's actually I try to do that too. I have horrible insomnia. Unfortunately, I have one of those hyperactive minds that just keeps thinking of every possibility, and so it's a little tough to sleep for me. But
yeah, curling into a ball, help. Worrying about scumbaggery with the anxiety doesn't really help much. In fact, our very career choice is not good for sleep patterns, I've found, because you're often up long into the night. You know, the missus will come into the room, Vinny, come to bed. And I go, no, somebody on the internet is wrong.
Yeah, I'm in a chat room where 5 people are watching, and I'm having a major debate that's going to change the world. We're funny that way.
Oh, yeah, we just don't have a grip on reality. It's actually quite funny. I was looking through my Facebook block list, and I was like, holy cow, I've blocked a hell of a lot of people over the years.
Well, you know, I'm going through right now a weird kind of thing. I'm getting, because I've been talking about Christianity, I've been talking about like true Christianity without the church, just talking about the Bible itself and what it says. And how it affects the law. I mean, it actually is the law of the land. Once you realize what this thing is, it becomes such a powerful thing. You forget religion, forget all. You just the book itself is basically what all law is based on. So I've been talking about that and realizing that it's almost a remedy in law. And we're gonna even have a guest on about that. So now all of a sudden I'm getting what I can only call death cults contact me, and they're sending me these cryptic, fundamentalist messages that say basically the only solution to life is death. We must rid ourselves of the flesh so that we can be, journey on. And I'm like, my God, what are you talking about? So I'm getting all these crazy.
Isn't that ironic? Somebody who's still alive telling you that death is way better than life. How the hell would you know? Right. How about you volunteer, bro? You first go for your life, and then contact me from the afterlife via email, and then tell me how it is, brother. Don't tell me it beforehand, okay?
It's like you totally misrepresenting what the Bible actually says. That's fundamentalism, and that's what's being taught. Just like it's being taught in the media. Everything we're talking about, that's what's being taught in these corporate churches. It's to get people away from the realization of what that dang book actually says, and why it's an authorized version, that it's the law.
See, they've done...
Oh my God.
Here's what the word fundamentalist means, okay? They take out all the fun and just leave in all the being mental part. They're not fun people to hang around, I'm sorry. You're going to die, you're going to hell. It's like, I know, but, it doesn't mean I have to be worried about it, because then I'll be living in hell before I die as well. Frack that.
Well, yeah, see, but that's the thing. You find out what these words actually mean. You find out that hell is actually a legal term, and it means the prison under the executor for debt slaves who don't pay their debt. So yeah, you might be going there. That's the thing. You might be going there in life, not in death. That's the interesting part about it.
I say bring back the Jubilee, man. Every 50 years, all debts get cleared. Every 50 years, wipe the slate clean. That sounds like a brilliant idea to me.
But instead, we have every 70 years, it's a redeclaration of bankruptcy. Hey.
Wow. See, this is my creative solution. Everybody's going, oh my God, we've got all this debt. And I go, how did the get there? Well, they made it up. Well, why don't we just forgive the debt, pretend that it doesn't exist? How about that? They're like, oh my God.
Oh, you mean we're the creators, so we can uncreate?
No. We're the ones who imagined all this stuff. So how about we just stop imagining it and start imagining something else? It doesn't really exist. It's not actually there. So frick it. There's nothing to tie it down in reality. We can just change it anytime we want. Kind of like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah. Well, and the truth be told, it's not our debt. It's actually the corporation called United States debt. It has nothing to do with us. That we've just been fooled again through media conditioning, through school, to think that it's our debt. It has nothing to do with us.
Yeah, I was never there, man. I was never there. They signed those documents without my say-so, man.
I'm extremely every activist needs to do that from time to time. Just do that. Just get that exhausted, frustrated. Yeah, because look, everything pisses me off. All right, to a degree. It may not seem like it. I may seem like I've got a good coping mechanism, but at the end of the day, I am like this close to just flying off the handle and start screaming and yelling at people. Like honestly, that's what I am. I'm like on the razor blade of sanity at any given point, because everything's so frustrating. But on the other side of the things, there's so many wonderful things, so many wonderful people. I really hate talking with slave scum, but I love talking with people like you who are just a normal slave like me who doesn't like being a slave and whatnot, and actually wants to do something about it rather than just convince everybody else to go along to get along, and hopefully being exterminated will be a fun time. Maybe they'll have volleyball at the FEMA camps. You don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we'll see you there at the camps. It's kind of like
it'll be like a reunion.
It's gonna be where the party's at. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
FEMA camp number 12, man.
Yeah, it'll be like that scene at the very end of Return of the Jedi where all the little Ewoks they're like playing drums on the discarded stormtrooper helmets. They got some.
All right. Stop.
My bad.
Stop. All right, tell people where they can find you again, because we're running out of time real quick.
All right, well, if you search Vinny Eastwood, ladies and gentlemen, that's Vinny with a Y, because it's the most important question, and Eastwood as in, go ahead, make my news. You'll probably find me at thevinnyeastwoodshow.com, Vincent Eastwood on YouTube, realguerrillamedia.com. I also contribute to the USindependent.com, and you can find me on Facebook as well under Vinny Eastwood. And other than that, I think best way to contact me is actually through Facebook. I found... Ooh, excuse me, I'm having a little bit of a...
Grody.
Yeah, maybe I need a throaties or something like that.
Facebook, huh? Facebook, huh?
Yeah.
The ultimate slave.
I call it Fashbook. And it's basically just a place where you can suggest me guests and things of that nature. Maybe have a chat off air and whatnot. It's a good communication tool. It's far more. I'm far more likely to reply to you on Facebook than I am via email or Skype messages to a large degree. It's actually quite sad now that I think about it. But there you go.
Well, DARPA just called and said they're very happy to hear that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's nice. Yep. Well, the thing is, they surveil absolutely everything at all times anyway, so it doesn't actually matter whether you're on Facebook, Skype, email, doesn't matter. They know everything all the time, everywhere. So here's my philosophy, give them a good show.
That's basically what I tell people is don't try to protect yourself from it because it's already there. Globalism isn't on its way; it's already here. Everything's already here. Don't be afraid of it; it's already here. But maybe you could do something about it. Right?
Yeah, it's like I'm afraid that the evil New World Order will surveil me and know what I'm doing if I actually try and do something about the evil New World Order. So I'm not going to do anything about the evil New World Order. You frickin' idiot. Thanks, Clint. It's been awesome, buddy.
Man. Thanks again. VinnyEastwoodShow.com. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow. So let me get this straight. You're a benign narcissist, and you're going after just a narcissist.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, actually, I'm going after psychopaths. I think. Yeah. Somebody was actually talking to me about this, and they go, well, if you're a narcissist, why are you going after psychopaths? And I say, well, because they're my natural enemy. It's kind of like if you're Asian burlesque dancer chick and stuff like that, actually having sex with her in particular rooms of the council building, and And because I'm an extremist conspiracy theorist, and a couple of other former mayoral candidates. Saturday here to get Len Brown, who's the mayor of Auckland, mayor of like 1.4 million people, largest city in the country. It was an Agenda 21 takeover, more or less, if you want to get technical about it. But he's apparently been quite corrupt. He's sleeping around with if you're a black person and you don't steal stuff and what have you, black people who do steal stuff are your natural enemy because they make you look bad. Yeah. I don't want to use that as a racist example and what have you, but the basic thing is true. How you define yourself is how you differentiate yourself from the other people who and what have you are going to be speaking there. People are using this as an excuse to say it's all completely crazy. So we've got people who are left-wing and people who are right-wing coming to speak, and that's a reason why you should never listen to us, because we're left-wing or right-wing and we're all coming together, so therefore none of us are correct and we're all crazy. All right, that's the logic.